www.alienaddictions.com. I'm there quite a bit. There's a chat room that we all talk in quite a bit. And pretty much any time of the day you can go on. There's people in there to talk to. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great, usually non-judgmental place. There's a couple of people in there who get a little weird just in terms of their predictions and things like that. But I also like to give everybody a voice, and especially when people are making predictions, because if they don't happen, there you go. You know if the person has any credibility or not. So go check that out. It's a lot of fun. But let's talk right now about something else I'm going to talk about coming up. And everybody may have had an ass full of it already. I don't know, probably. But I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple things that have happened while I was off the air, including the oil spill in the Gulf, which affects everybody. There are oceans, and with the currents, they circulate everywhere eventually. And they're saying it's been cleaned up now, which is a load of shit. I just read another report that said 79% of it remains, and that the floor of the ocean is just covered in areas around Miami, just covered in oil. And we all saw the video of the oil just spewing out into the ocean for 100 days almost, I think it was. And I still don't think it's completely plugged. Even if they said it was, I don't know if I buy it. But and a funny story with that real quick before we move on and talk about what it's like to become obsessed with this topic, which happens to a lot of us who get into it. We just find that all of a sudden we're spending a ton of time doing it. A good friend of mine had a dream about his ex, and apparently they were on a cruise in the Gulf or something, and she was all bent out of shape about the oil spill and said, well, can't they just grab the hose and choke it? He's like no one had thought of that before. So we now refer to dumbasses as hose chokers. So if you ever hear me call someone a hose choker, that's what we're referring to. I thought that was great, though. Like, he was so frustrated about this dream, even though it didn't even happen. It was great. But anyway, also the same friend was kind enough to send me a new microphone and audio setup, which I don't know if you guys can hear, but it sounds way better now. We sound like an actual radio show. I listened to the first segment and, just a little piece of it just to hear what it sounded like. And it doesn't sound like this anymore. Aliens, grays, like just me screaming into the mic built into my computer like it used to. So that's awesome. And I plan on growing this show quite a bit. So if you're a fan, if you're at all interested in this, keep coming around. Come to the website, alienaddictions.com. There's always ways to listen to the show after it airs there, and talk to people who are also into this. But we certainly plan on growing the show, and it was growing really well before the accident. We had to take a break. But yeah, plan on it getting bigger, because that's certainly what I'm going to try to do. I know it's ridiculous. A lot of people think that I believe knowing about aliens/angels is important for humanity at this point. But I'm going to go into why it is a little bit, and why maybe it's worth taking a listen to. I mean, in reality, it's religious, is what it is. This is sort of a bizarre, wacky form of going to church, kind of listening to the show, and going to the website. Because in church, everything is so old, which is my main problem with churches. Everything's from God knows when, 0 BC. 0 BC or AD, or do they even know? That's my point. It's all been in text. There's, the King James version of the Bible, and there's all sorts of different versions of the Quran, and just slightly different versions, but one word can change an entire sentence. That really can. So even with the number of translations made, even if it was unintentional, I think it's highly strongly possible that it's been altered. And I also know that kings and queens have been in charge of this book. And if you're going to use one thing to get people riled up about, attacking their neighbor, what are you going to use besides God? It's so highly intangible, yet almost everyone believes in it. I think everybody listening to this show knows and accepts that there's certainly more to the universe than we as humanity realizes it. More than that theory that we're taught in school that, it's most likely we're the only intelligent species out there because we haven't found anything else. Well, you ever thought that maybe we have, and that information hasn't been released? Because that's reality. That's what really is going on. And even if that wasn't the case, but it is, what are the odds? It's a damn big universe. It really is an enormous, colossally big universe. And that's before we even add in extra dimensions, which is sort of hard to wrap your head around. And I explain a little bit in some of my YouTube videos, and I'll explain here in the show as we go along. But really, what are the odds that we're the only intelligent life in the entire freaking universe? Is that a bit egotistical, do you think? just because we haven't found anything else. Well, we've also not been any further than the moon with humanity as far as we still teach in schools. How far we've actually been, who knows? Because so much of it is kept secret. But you think maybe we should explore a little bit further than that before coming to that conclusion, which is a damn lie anyway. But we all know there's something more out there. So what I'm going to do real quick before we go into this real quick is just break up me yapping about aliens with a song. Because we don't have commercials. There's no advertisers here, which I think a lot of people like. I don't know if it'll always be like that or not. We'll find out. But let's break it up with a song. And I also, like I said earlier, listen to music closely. Listen to the words. Because pretty much every bit of music I play in here has references, or that artist has made songs with many references to ETs and aliens. And I've gotten so many emails from musicians that say, absolutely, you're right on the money there. I thought nobody heard. Or they think that just that group of musicians here, but largely music is about this, and it's very spiritual and religious in nature, but in its own way. And that's what's awesome about it. That's why I prefer gapping about aliens to church, because to me, church is, while it teaches some nice fundamentals, look at the Crusades, look at the wars that the United States, at least, is still fighting today. It's us versus them. Can't we just each believe what we want to, or what we're taught as kids, or what we've discovered in our own life? Engage in open conversation if we want to about it. Make that what we do as opposed to our chanting or singing or whatever. I guess do what you want, but can't we do that and just talk to each other about things a little bit, and then let each person believe what they want to believe? Is there anything wrong with that? And if God wants to, take us over his knee with a whipping belt at the end of our life, what a schmuck if that's the case. I don't think that is how it goes. But, let him take care of that. Let God, let the universe, whatever, angels, whatever it is that takes care of things, take care of it at the end. Just a thought. So anyway, here's a song real quick. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about what it's like to become obsessed with aliens, which some of us are dealing with very much here. Certainly some of the people at the website I've talked to, alienaddictions.com, and just sort of some of the wacky things it can spin out to, and the reasons why it's a slippery slope sometimes. We'll be right back on Party 93.4 and www.party934.com, who, by the way, believes nothing that I say. They think I'm a complete raving lunatic and just needed to fill a few hours during their Friday overnight into Saturday. So you can't sue them. You got to come after me, Alienphotog, if you want to sue somebody. So, all right, be right back. Aliens!